looking at Dani Olmo as well. There's talk from a few credible outlets that they've put an offer in for him as well. I mean,
Yeah, but his what's it called? His buyout clause just expired like sometime last week. He had a buyout clause for 40 mil, and that expired, and no one went in for him. And I just looked at that. I was like, is he probably the clubs think he's worth less than that? I guess because that's the only way I
maybe.
can look at it. Because some people don't want to pay a buyout clause; they'll rather do a payment structure. Basically, the same thing. I think we did the same thing with Xerxes, where his buyout was 40, and we actually said, no, we'll give you 42, but we'll pay it in the next like what 3 years,
Yeah,
four
well,
years
that's
instead of
because
paying 40 now.
most buyout clauses mean you have to pay the money up front.
Yeah, yeah,
So in
all at
terms
once.
of FFP and PSR, it's a big dent. Where if you can spread that over 5 or 6 years on your trading accounts, amortize it saves you a lot of money. It's why those deals that happen between the Villas and the Chelseas and co. Is they all sort of sales show up instantly. So you sell a player for 20 million and buy a player for 30 million. It actually shows as a 20 million of income, and it might only show 5 million of outgoing. So it works out well for you in that way.
He's
But
more of a Pep player than anyone actually. He's an absolute system player. He's a good player, but he'll fit Pep's system 100%. We've seen him with
yeah,
Spain just get thrown wherever they needed him. They needed a false nine, he went there. They needed a 10, he went there.
It seems, I don't know why, it feels like there's a bit of lack of planning and foresight for Man City going into this.
I don't think Man City are planning well.
It don't feel like it because look at all these targets they've been linked to. There's buyout clauses expiring, clock's ticking. Is KDB going? Is he not going? Obviously,
Edison, same thing. They still don't know if he's staying. I don't know if you heard what Pep said.
What did Pep say? What did he say?
So they asked him last game if Edison is leaving, and they said it's up to him. So Edison was at the last game that they had. He was on the bench, but he has personal team terms agreed with Saudi. So he said it's really up to him. So they don't even know if their goalkeeper is staying or not. Actually, Lawless might be cooking something. Go ahead, Lawless. I'm allow you. Go cook.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, no, that's just the feeling I get is with how things are going. It's just a weird. Everything's very weird. I don't know if it's ahead of something linked to the trial and the charges coming ahead. Was it next year? I think, and halfway through the season or something is supposed to be happening. So I don't know if there's a bit of caution with the FFP and PSR stuff, and we're not seeing the Man City that flex their muscles that we've seen in the past. But yeah, like Bruno Guimaraes, they was like massively linked with, like, next to Paqueta, he was their main target. Nothing, no bids, no approaches. I don't know what's going on there.
No, you're actually spitting. I'm not gonna lie. Now that I'm thinking of it, there's too much uncertainty. Yeah,
I do get that. It feels. Do you know what I think it is? It feels like a weird summer because City are often so organized. They shut things down quickly. They get signings done quickly. There's very rarely uncertainty, and I think with the looming court cases, I think that murkies all of our minds, if that makes sense. Plus, there was the one that happened 5 weeks ago. We don't even know the outcome, where they sued the Premier League. And what's that done? I mean, my view is that one's probably more likely to have an impact than the one on the way, because if they've lost this court case, it calls into question more of their sponsorship deals and third-party deals than ever before. So maybe they're reluctant to spend money because they've now lost that case. If they'd have won that case by now, they could, and the Premier League suddenly has no more power to control who their sponsors are. Why would they be holding back? They didn't buy Bruno Guimaraes when his transfer, like for his buyout clause, almost transfer clause has expired. A few players want to leave. But saying all that, and they're already City fans that probably stopped listening because cognitive dissonance has kicked in. But I want to make sure I say this in the right way. We could all be being lured into a false sense of security that it isn't very good. The planning isn't very good, but City start the season and win their first 12 games. That's for me why I can't, like, as much as I would love it to be disorganized, and I hear everything you're saying, I can't allow myself to be sucked into City not having a good, because I think if they, I believe in how well your run reflects on the pitch, and if they've got a very disorganized, poorly put together summer, I think it can impact them on the pitch. The only element that I do think makes a little bit of sense is they may already know that Pep's going to go next year. And maybe they have to think, although I don't think they're going to abandon all the principles and what they've built, they may have to think about who they're going to buy. They may look at a Dani Olmo and go, oh, it'll fit a Pep system amazingly. But we've only got the Pep system for another 12 months. They don't know who's going to come in and replace him yet. And again, this would actually then make it sensible business this summer. Maybe you don't drop £200 million on players that maybe only work to their optimum best under Pep. Maybe there's other individuals that will work better under a different manager. And if you don't know who his replacement is going to be yet, that 10, 15% difference in manager styles could dictate who they buy this summer. If that makes sense, you know. And
so I agree, but go ahead, finish it.
No, I'm done there, bro. Go on.
No, I was just saying, I hear what you're saying, but all this goes down to next season. We're talking about this season. You're not gonna get a pass for this season because Pep might be leaving next season. You're trying to plan for next season, you know, which would actually that's what I'm saying. Everything Lawless said is fact. If Ederson leaves within the next 3 weeks, you're not replacing him, are you? Because where's the replace? We haven't heard any links. And who's actually out there in world football that can convince in 3 weeks to join you? So there is a lack of planning. This is not really typical of City in the last few years. We don't enter these stages of the summer and we're like, yeah, there's too much uncertainty. There might be uncertainty with a certain signing coming in or not, but being so unprepared, especially with your outgoings. It was just a few days ago where KDB it was said that he's gonna leave to Saudi Arabia, and then they came out and debunked it. But I always believe where there's smoke, there's fire. So if he ends up leaving, Ederson ends up leaving, it's not a good situation for them. And you know what's crazy? It's crazy to think that they might go into the season unprepared, and Arsenal haven't really strengthened during the summer, because this would be the best opportunity for Arsenal to capitalize on that, because they're just getting the Calafiori deal done, and there's about 3 weeks left on the summer, and they still haven't addressed their front line and their midfield. So it's actually a very interesting watch the next 3 weeks. What's gonna happen with City with their outgoings, ingoings, and I'm not gonna lie, bro. If there's one season to go into and say if City go and start the season slow, they might not catch up. It might be this one, because I haven't seen anything impressive from them this summer compared to the summers before. We always looked at their teams and were like, you know what, they can catch up. This one, if a couple players leave, I'm not gonna be able to say the same.
Listen, boys, I hope you're right. I do hope that you're right. And I do get your point that this season you can't get a buy for it. What I will say, and I'm trying to be fair here to City, so I'm, just talking the other side for fairness and balance. Medium to longer term planning is more important than dropping 150 to 200 million on players this summer that may not quite suit what you're doing in a year's time. I still stand by that. If we knew that Ten Hag was leaving and we didn't know yet who his replacement was going to be, even though I want to win this year, I'd rather not spend 200 million on players that 100% suit what we're doing. I know that there should be a club plan and there should be almost a unilateral approach where it doesn't matter who the manager is, the players work. You never get 100% fit. It's always, 70, 80, 90% fit. But City fans, let us know what you're thinking and feeling.